Right, first today, it was the accident that dominated the headlines last week when Prince Philip, the Duke of Edinburgh, was involved in a terrifying car crash. The accident left Duke's Land Rover overturned, and at the age of 97, many have said that he was lucky to walk away with his life. And now, in an exclusive TV interview, we're joined by Emma Fairweather, who was in the car that collided with Prince Philip's. Emma suffered a broken wrist in the accident, and it's left her feeling upset and shaken. Emma, thank you for joining us this morning. Why have you decided to speak publicly about this?
Oh, so many sort of different levels to that question, actually, and as things have unfolded, the decision kind of became clearer, really. The support that I was offered initially at the scene of the accident hasn't really been the reality for me, so I've actually had no opportunity to discuss this with anybody in any formal capacity yet.
Support from who at the scene of the
the police, Royal Protection.
Right.
So can you tell us exactly what happened?
Yes, Thursday afternoon I'd been to see a friend for coffee. We were travelling home in her car and we were coming across past Sandringham, as we do all the time in Norfolk. And as we came past the junction at Sandringham, stationary vehicle to the left of us made the decision to pull into our path.
And you weren't speeding, you were a passenger anyway, but you were just sort of 50 miles an hour. You could see as you got close to the car, it was an elderly gentleman, and you thought he was going to stop, and he just didn't. It was reported that the Duke said that it was the sun that dazzled him. What do you say about that?
I don't remember it being sunny that day. I would never want to put myself in a position where I would say that the Duke is not being honest. But I do not recall that day was sunny.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. You know, that's not the day that I had. I had a day we'd been complaining that morning that it was miserable and overcast. And
right. Okay.
So what is it that, are you looking for an apology direct from the palace or from whom?
I think an acknowledgement of not so much any admission of responsibility, but more somebody who would like to talk to me about how difficult this is going to be for me and has been for me already. I haven't had no support. The only support I've had is my very immediate family. In terms of support, I mean assurances that this is being dealt with. I don't know what the situation is.
Are your insurance companies dealing with it?
I've not been provided with any insurance details. I was the passenger.
Right.
In the accident, but neither party have been forthcoming with very much information.
After the crash had happened, somebody came to the car because you were travelling with your friend who was driving,
yes.
And then in the back of the car was their 9-month-old baby. And there was obviously immediate concern for the baby, and
Absolutely.
And a passerby came by and said, we need to get the baby out first.
Well, they came actually to get me out first because I took the impact on the passenger side.
Right.
But as soon as they were able to try and open the door, I shouted through, get the baby out. So
right.
It was my full consent to leave me and go around and get the poor baby out of the car.
And the baby was okay?
Baby was fine. I was able to find that information out of the hospital, that he was checked over really thoroughly and discharged, and incredibly grateful for that.
You said that the people who came to check the baby then left to go over to the other vehicle?
Yes.
Yeah. And did that surprise you?
I don't know if it surprised me at that stage because I had no idea who the other person was or what state they were in. So I was trusting that good judgments were being made, but I was also in a car that was rapidly filling with smoke and I was panicking.
Yeah, it must have been very scary.
Passenger side, I couldn't move my arm to open the door. I was aware that the man had come to speak to me, had struggled to get the door. It wasn't open. He tried to open it, it was stuck at the point that I screamed through to get the baby. So it was more panic of, am I going to be forgotten?
Of course.
I can't do this. And
it's very confusing, and it must have been really frightening, and you're in pain as well, I can imagine. When did you realise that it was the Duke of Edinburgh?
It was when somebody who had stopped from in a car oncoming said to me, do you know who that is, don't you? And I actually did say, I think it's just an old man. And she said, actually, it's Prince Philip.
And how did that make you feel? Because you're a fan of the royals.
Yeah, hugely. Much debated topic in my household, and my children are quite often put in their place if they're not fully supportive of the royal family. I think there was a mixture of reactions, but obviously, oh my gosh, this is important. Is he okay? But also, it was just a little bit surreal at that moment. So as far as I was concerned, everybody involved was just a normal person.
And there was reports, and I think you yourself, did you say that you thought he was trying to speak to you, but he was being advised?
Well, what I had said was, where has he gone? Because surely he wants to speak to me and check I'm okay. And at that point, somebody said to me, well, he did try to, but he was advised not to.
Right,
So
okay.
I don't know, that's what happened.
I mean, a lot of people out there who have been involved in car accidents before know that when there is an accident, and they'll probably be thinking this, that you're told not to speak to the other party just in case there's blame or fault.
Absolutely. I don't think asking if you're okay is accepting liability. But I do understand that. I think that's the point at which a quote from Prince Philip in the news yesterday that said, I was such a fool, seems he's prepared to admit some responsibility, just not to me, just to everybody else. But emotions run very high when you're in a lot of pain,
Yes.
and I appreciate that very much.
The Duke's been given the all clear to drive again. We've seen him driving as early as Saturday after passing an eye test. You do believe, however, that if he is found at fault, that he should be prosecuted like anybody else?
Absolutely. There needs to be a decision as to whether Prince Philip and I are from the same walk of life here or not. And we either both receive the same treatment or we don't. So, you know, if I'm to be left, I'm still waiting to give a statement to the police, which I am shocked by. I haven't had a full medical check over yet. Only my arm has been checked, despite telling the hospital at the time that I had other injuries. I just feel that his treatment his experience probably hasn't been the same as mine.
Have you spoken to your friend about this, who was driving the car? Because maybe it's you who should be speaking to her insurance company or through her.
I did ask for her insurance details. I asked a number of times, and finally yesterday, mid-afternoon, I did receive a very formal email from her husband to share those details with me.
And so what is it you would like? What is it you want to see happen here?
I need somebody to understand that I still have medical concerns. I'm very worried that I haven't been asked for a statement from the police. I'm very worried that, I don't know the truth of it, but people keep saying to me, the royal family don't have to have insurance. And so I'm injured by an uninsured driver, and I don't understand the process
of what happens.
that substitutes that for him.
Do we actually know that they don't have insurance?
I don't know, as I say, all I've been left with a lot of speculation.
Apparently they don't need to.
When I've contacted the family liaison officer from Norfolk Police to say I have a number of questions, he hasn't been prepared to listen to those.
You have had some contact in the palace. Mary Morrison, who's the Queen's lady in waiting, did call. And what did she say to you? It was a message, wasn't it?
Yeah, she left me a voicemail that was just an hour or two before my interview in the papers became known, and she left me a voicemail to say that the Queen wished me well, and that she would like to call me back, but she was going out for the evening.
When you saw those photos of the Duke behind the wheel on Saturday, and that he was not wearing a seatbelt and he was on public land, how did that make you feel?
Upset.
Did it?
Very upset, because accidents do happen. Excuse me. Of course accidents happen, but there needs to then be a period of reflection on what could be done differently to prevent the same thing happening again. It's highly insensitive and inconsiderate towards me and everybody involved.
And do you believe that at a certain age that people should be withdrawn from driving?
I think that's more a question about our legal system than Prince Philip. The system at the moment allows an individual to decide, it trusts that person to make that judgment.
Yeah.
So you're okay that he's passed the eye test. If they decide that he is deemed okay to continue to drive, you're okay with him being on the road? Yes.
Absolutely.
All right.
Great.
Well, look, thank you for coming here and telling us your side of the story.
Thank you so much.
And good luck.
Thank you.
Right, in just a moment, we'll be catching up with Martina Bigg, the white model